Hey team, so quite a few clients have asked us over the years, what happens if I'm selling a lower ticket item? And I don't want to spend a whole hour with someone understanding their needs, understanding the potential loss if they don't work with me, understanding all that stuff, because I feel like maybe all they need is something simple, or maybe I'm not sure if they'll be open to working with me on a larger project, or maybe I'm not sure if they need if they have the budget for what I do. So in this instance, it might be, you might be going, someone's come to me and they've said to me, hey, I just want a logo done. And you're feeling as well, I'm not sure if they're worth spending that time with. I'm not sure if it's worth sitting down with them for a whole hour. And they're saying to you, I just want a price. I just want an idea of how much you charge. Now, most people will just go, oh yeah, sure, well, my rate is about this much, or between here and here, right? Now, I think you should most definitely give them your rate. But what I want you to consider doing first is asking them 2 to 3 good questions just to get them thinking. Now, the reason I want you to do this is because normally what happens is a client will ask you how much it's going to cost to work with you. And if you just say, here's the amount, then that's easy. They have their answer and they can walk away. But what I want you to consider is by engaging with the client, by asking a couple of good questions, you're building authority with the client. Number one, you're going to actually kind of qualify them, because if they're not interested in answering even 3 basic questions over Messenger or over email, then they're probably not going to be a good client to work with. Or maybe there's a tire kicker and they're going around all the agencies or all the studios in their area and getting pricing. And the third thing that it does is it shows the client that there's actually more to it than just a price. So I'm going to give you those questions in a minute, but just so you're super clear, what I'm saying here is if it's under 2K, or if it's a low ticket job for you, now for you it might be 5K might be a low ticket job for you, but I'm just saying here 2K is a nice middle ground number, because once it gets over 2K, then there's more consideration needed, there's more time needed, and you need to understand that once the price goes up, the client needs to make a more educated decision. So they need to think a bit more about the value and the potential loss. But what we're talking about right here is if a potential client comes to you and goes, how much is it going to cost me for this? And you know it's going to be 800 or $1,000. Now, the questions that you're going to ask them, if it's a low ticket job, they'll be dependent on you. But what you want to be thinking is, what are some questions I could ask this potential client that would make them think there's a bit more to it than just how much is it for a logo and me giving them the price. So a couple of questions you could consider asking. So once my iPad catches up, so what's this going to be used for? Where are you going to be using this logo? How will it be used? Or how will you use this in illustration in your business? Or how will you use this on your branding? Where will it be used? What do you think you need? Because that'll kind of weed out what they think they need and their motivation. And what would be a tangible outcome? What would be a tangible what would be a tangible outcome that you'd be looking to get out of this? So you might be asking, how do I bridge from the potential client asking me how much does that cost, and asking them these questions? Well, I've just put it in for you right here. What you're saying to them is, hey, just so I can get a clear idea of what you're after, can I ask you a couple of quick questions so I can give you an educated idea of the investment? This is really important, because if they just say, I need a logo, you probably have an idea of how much that might cost, right? But there could be a lot more moving parts to that. It could be they're hard to work with. It could be where they actually are using the logo. It could be all the variations they need. Whatever it might be, it's really hard for us, to just give a price. Or maybe it's not so hard. But the message we want to get across to the client is, we need to think about this a wee bit more, and that involves asking them a couple of questions. And like I said before, if they answer these questions, or if they don't answer those questions, you're qualifying them if they're just shopping around the market. It shows them that there's kind of more to the conversation than just going, here's a simple price. And it builds authority because it's showing them that you aren't just going to give them a price. You actually need to ask a little bit more and dig a little bit deeper to find out exactly what they're after. So the big idea really within this video is just to say not every client's going to require the amount of digging that is involved in the VIP model. That's for higher ticket clients. If you're selling something, anything over 2K, if it's 4K, 5K, 6K and up, that's when you need to take the time to understand the client better. But if it's a simple little job, whether that be an illustration, whether it be a logo, something low ticket, all I suggest you do is before you give a price and before you start talking about the price, ask the client a couple of clarifying questions so you get a little bit more information, show that you're an authority, qualify them, and also show the client that there's a little bit more to your thought process and what you're going to create for them than just a simple, here's the price, and do you want to go ahead? Hope that was useful, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Bye. Oh, I'll post the questions below for you guys. See ya.